The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
And hello, John.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Table Topics. This is the second show of the year, and we have with us our guest, Michelle Dionne. It's a 7-year-long friend, and she's a city council in Fall River. So we have a lot of questions for you, Michelle. Are you ready?
No, Carlos. I never know with you. We did the hot seat. I survived that one.
The hot seat is it's a show that's has to be done at the studio. So let's hope that the COVID-19 is gonna depart, so we can go back to normal. I cannot wait to go back to normal.
I'll tell you, I think it has to go back to normal. I don't really know how much people can really even mentally take of this, never mind the physical things that people have gone through.
Mm-hmm. And the jobs and all of that. So it's been tough.
No, you don't even know how many people are going to come out when you're talking about jobs and businesses. We don't even know who's going to come out on the other side. It's sad. It's very sad.
Yes. But remember, 2021 is a baby, was just born. So let's hope that.
And it was just born, and some people have already asked if they could cash it in and start over.
Oh boy. So my first question is, you just finished your first year, huh? Mm-hmm. After trying to get elected couple of times, you finally got your ticket, your golden ticket. I don't know if you regret it, but you got your golden ticket and you served the whole year. My first question for you is, how it feel, and was what you expecting?
Well, it's mixed emotions. And do I regret it? I do not regret it. So I don't want that to be thought to be part of the answer. I think, and I tell people all the time, I think the best part is the fact that you truly can help people. You know, a lot of times people have issues, they have problems, they don't know where to go. They pick up the phone. You can help resolve so many issues. And that doesn't mean doing anybody favors, that there's no bad connotation to that. It's purely helping people to solve issues that they don't know how to solve otherwise. And that's probably the most rewarding part of being on the city council, honestly. I think for me, I think I sat long enough and watched enough meetings for, a number of years, that I think I had a different perspective than most people do their first time on the council, perhaps. But even with that, it still is a bit of an eye opener. There's there's certainly so much to learn.
Yeah. I remember when we were sitting and watching meetings, we watched many meetings, that was so easy, right, to vote, because we were really sitting on the other side. It was so easy to vote. Why people are voting this way? Why people, it makes no sense for people to vote this way. So when you finally get on the desk, it is that easy to make a vote?
It's totally different. And you're right. It's easy to be an armchair quarterback. And it's also easy to have preconceived notions and make a lot of assumptions about people, what they think, why they're doing what they're doing. And those feelings and thoughts aren't always on target. Are there difficult votes? Absolutely. You know, there have been some things that have come up that I've literally struggled up until the time that I take the vote. Because I truly do try to do my homework. I truly do try to look at both sides. I listen. I don't care what somebody's opinion is. I don't care what side they're on. I listen to anybody who wants to, voice their opinion. And for me, at the end of the day, I want to be able to walk away and feel good with what I did. I don't want to regret a vote that I've taken. I don't want to regret something I've done or something I've said. So I do truly put a lot into it. But I have had times that honestly, just before they start the roll call, I can see myself going either way on the vote. And that's only happened twice, but you struggle with that. And I think on those votes, one time I think I may have said, thought differently after the fact. The other time I was good with it. But basically, I've always been able to walk away and feel confident in my vote and happy with what I did.
Any votes that you got 100 calls on? Why did you did it?
Not really. For the most, it's kind of interesting because for the most part, I have had people call me. I've had people instant message me, and and they've said, we see that you do your homework. We believe that you're a city council who's truly trying to look out for the city of Fall River and the people in Fall River, and we thank you for that. I've had people who have said to me, the thing that I like the best is it's obvious you don't take sides, you just address the issues and do what you think is best. Doesn't mean they agree with me all the time, but that's just some of the responses I've gotten from people.
I know John has the $1 million question for you.
What's up?
I don't know. You always have better questions than me. So,
well, I just wanted to bring this up, Michelle, and it's something that has been going on in this city for so many years now, and it doesn't seem like we ever can get a handle on it. And what happens is it seems like this comes to bite us every year now. And that is like getting some ordinance together on developments, making sure we have a site plan review that is actually worth its weight in water. I mean, people don't realize we have this site plan review, but it only deals with water mediation. And I know the last planner would kind of get things in there, but there was never anything in writing. And this is something that I was working with the last planner, Mr. Kinney, and didn't really work with this planner, but worked with him to try to get this done. Went before the council numerous times years ago, could never get anything going. So to me, that's one of my frustrations here, that, you'll see something come up like the thing on Linfield Street or down here on Jefferson Street. We end up having to pay for this later on. And you guys get people screaming at you going, how are you going to fix this? Well, it should have never came to that point, but it doesn't seem like anything's getting done. I'm hearing now that there is, that it's before the ordinance committee. And is there anything that I just think, to me, that's something that has long lasting past when we're all gone, that we've set something up here, no matter who the mayor is. They can't go in and talk to the mayor. This is what the plan is. You need to plant this many trees. You need to make sure you have a sidewalk done. Make sure the street's done. And that's just been one of my frustrations for years and years now, that we never can get out of our own way.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I think I do believe that the 9 of us are on that page with you. We've had those discussions. The discussions have come up in city council. The comment has been made, instead of people always having to go from A to B to C to D to accomplish something, is there a way to get everybody at the table at the same time? Obviously, there's been failures along the way. whether people feel environmentally something shouldn't have been done, or like you're saying, the road wasn't complete, it wasn't done properly. We truly are trying to address that. And I think you'll be seeing something soon. An ad hoc committee has been put together that will ultimately bring some material to the state to hopefully make some changes in the law at the state level, so that contractors are held to a higher standard. They're not able to just walk away and leave destruction behind them. So I think you're finally going to see movement in that direction.
Yeah, I just would hope. That's great that we're getting the state involved, but we can do something at a city level. And like I said, I talked to Mr. Kinney a while back. This was when he was in before, gave him subdivision plans from Fairhaven, from New Bedford, from Taunton. They all have this in there. So when these contractors come in, they have to abide by these different things. Tiverton is the same thing. Here they come in, there's nothing there. So when there's nothing in writing, it's kind of like, whatever. We just, do whatever. And I think we sell ourselves short here. And it's just something that's very frustrating, because when I watch the city council meeting, you see the thing that's happening on the Tiverton border with that pot place, and that could have been solved if we had.
That could have been avoided.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right. We never seem to have the teeth.
Yeah.
And we never seem to have the foresight to use the teeth, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's what we're trying to change. Part of the and you're right, there are things that can be done at the local level. You are correct. But I think the stronger, the backbone that we really need is also changing some of the laws so that these people don't have loopholes, so that they can't circumvent what we do create.
Yeah.
But truly it bothers everybody. I mean, you're right. These things have cost us millions of dollars, and who drains a pond to put in a development, and who allows that to happen?
Well, I mean, the funny part is that whole area, when I was a kid, I thought that was all swampland. So when you're building houses, I'm like, how are they building houses on swampland?
Yeah, no.
Well,
right.
and the problem is, it's a waste of time to go in front of these boards. I mean, they already know how they're gonna vote. Doesn't matter how many people we put on that meeting against it. They go there already with their minds set up to vote that way, and nobody can change it. And believe me, this is all over the city. We on the Flint, we have that project going on Alden Street. Niagara has that project going on Stevens Street. I just saw that development going across from Stop and Shop. It's going to be on the boards next week on the 18th.
You talking about the development for the 70? There was, I believe, 76 apartments down in the Whitefield area.
Exactly. So
now that's an example. Now the city council, we voted unanimously to send a letter to the zoning board to deny that.
Yeah.
Now I don't know that a city council has ever done that in the past. Unanimously,
I wish you good luck, because that's the problem. It's the people on these boards are not there to defend me or to see my view for having something like that on my neighborhood. These people are there is with a goal to do something, and they find excuses. That's more tax money. The city needs money. They always find it. It's like a good lawyer. Okay, it's like a good lawyer trying to defend somebody that's guilty. They know what to use in court and what the words to use to let the people go free. And that's exactly what the boards are doing with all this, that then comes around a decade after and just biting us behind, because it's going to cost us more money to resolve the problem that the city actually make with that project. So That's the problem that I have, is the people on these boards that don't matter, they don't listen, and they always have a good excuse to pass it.
Well, again, hopefully if we can change things at the local level and the state level, some of that won't exist anymore, because there'll be something in place that won't allow that to happen again. I mean, we can't continually pay millions of dollars because things happen that shouldn't have happened. And I'm a person that I believe, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And one of the reasons I'm against that development is just the impact it's going to have on that neighborhood. It won't be a neighborhood anymore. It's not going to be a neighborhood with single family homes where the kids can play in the street. You're turning it upside down, different quality of life for those people. Again, like you say, we're still talking wetlands. There has to be checks and balances, and there has to be some right and wrong, and we need to follow that path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, since we're talking about this, when the zoning board does meet, there are things that, what is one of the biggest problems in the city is parking, right? And plowing during the winter time. So when you have someone go before the zoning board, it's like, oh, can you have 2 off-street parking spots? That's great, but we're not in like 1970 anymore. Most people have 4 cars. If they have a kid or 2, they have 4 cars. We don't require that. And I've seen where we've had a property that's burnt down. It's a 4-family. And what do they want to do? They want to put a 4-family in there or make it a 5-family, instead of saying, you know what, this is a 2-family or a single family. Now we need to, especially if it's an area that's really condensed and congested, we need to come up with a way to make it, a better quality of life for folks. And
tailor
what's built to the area.
Yeah.
Versus trying to reinvent the area for what you want to build.
Yeah. And I find that's been the problem. There are certain people that go before the variance board all the time. They're private companies that go before and go for ordinances for these people. And I've talked to a few folks, and you know what? You have a problem with it? Change the zoning. Change the ordinances. I'm not changing this for my client. I'm going to try to get as much as I can, because they'll go in and say, well, you know what, this area, you just let a 2-family house go in at a 5,000 square foot lot for. So now, well, it's always going to do that because you let all these people do this.
You're right. So, you're right. That is the problem. You set the precedent. And once you set the precedent, it's very difficult to reel that in.
Yeah.
If a neighborhood is an R8 neighborhood, well, then you should have maintained that neighborhood as an R8 neighborhood and not allowed somebody to build on a 5,000 square foot piece of property.
Yeah.
And everything just get,
Go ahead, Carlos. We kind of beat this horse dead, Michelle. So
I don't know. You know what? I don't think we beat it dead until we fix it.
Yeah. So I hope that
good luck.
Something we can do. Yeah.
Good luck.
There's always hope. So I think the more people that concentrate on it, the better it's going to be. So like there are things that I see that come up, and people are talking about something that, and I've told this to Sean too. That come on, there are things that, let's not beat these dead horses. Let's do something that's going to have impact years later. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to happen. But maybe I'm going to have a little bit of hope that it will happen in the next couple of years. Since you're saying they're working on it, that's a positive to me that someone's working on it.
Yep. It truly has been in the discussion. There's no doubt. Because we've all gone and visited, well, most of us at least have gone and visited Whitefield and Frederick and, Hyacinth and all over the city. And you're right. It's, I watch the developments. I watch the homes being built. All these displaced animals, and then people wonder why they have coyotes in their yards. We need to do something.
Well, I guess this horse is still alive. Let's bring elephant on the room is budget.
Oh.
Budget. How's the conversations going for budgets?
I was wondering, out of curiosity, just before that, it's kind of related to that. Have there been a lot of people calling in about their taxes? Because I know that's always a big issue when people get their tax bills. Has Because I know we had a new evaluation. Everything's going up price-wise. Has that been?
There's been a few calls. And it's funny because, everything has a price. So everybody's thrilled and we're happy. We've been waiting for 20, 30, 40 years for the train to come. Oh boy, it's finally coming. But there's a big impact with that. There's a price to pay for that. Everybody wants their houses to be worth more money. But when your house is worth more money, you pay more in taxes. So even if you don't raise property taxes, your property taxes are still going to go up because your property value is going up. And, the further into the process we get, the more of an impact it's going to have. I know, somebody whose property value in 1 year went up $40,000. That's a big jump in 1 year. That represents a huge increase in their taxes.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with the city rate, with in the budget, raising the tax factor. That's just purely because your property went up $40,000. It's unheard of. Look what's happened to our multifamilies.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, you could buy a beautiful 3-family for what? $180,000, $200,000. Now you can't touch them for under $350,000.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
And 450. I've been watching it.
Yeah. So when your 3-family on your tax bill, goes from being worth $180,000 to $375,000 assessed value, what does that do to your tax bill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Michelle, after you already dealt once with the budget, so you kind of know where you are right now with the budget. You remind me, you voted no, right, on the budget last year?
Correct.
Yeah, it was 2 votes no. I think you were one of them.
Yes,
so,
I was. Actually, I believe the budget passed 5-4.
Oh, so that means that you had a problem last year. That means that problem is going to double for you this year, right?
Well, it's going to be an interesting budget discussion, I'm sure. Again, and I think part of the problem last year, obviously, and you hate to blame everything on COVID, but COVID has impacted and affected so many things. So we're very dependent on state aid. We're not the most affluent city in the state of Massachusetts. And the revenues are down. Obviously, some expenses are down. Thank God some of it balances out. But, you make a projection, but if you don't meet that projection, what happens? Mm-hmm. You have a deficit. And you start every year with a deficit to begin with. And then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We still, our meals tax, different things. Our restaurants are still struggling. The restaurants struggle. We struggle.
So Michelle, you are into the third quarter of that budget, right?
We just got, as a matter of fact, we're going to be discussing it at the city council meeting. We're just getting our second quarter report to go over that.
Yes, because you just entered the third quarter. So, correct. So you still don't have numbers, so you can see how the difference between the second quarter of the 2020 compared to 2019, right?
Well, I can look at the second quarter budget book and the second quarter of 2019 and now 2020 or 20 and 21. You forget the fiscal year and the year that's different.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see, where some revenues are lower, but again, like I said, some expenses are also lower.
Okay.
There are certain things that don't change. But I can tell you, it's not going to be an easy budget cycle. It really isn't. Because again, we don't know, is the state going to level fund us? Are they going to lower our funding? It's never going to be as good as it's been for the last few years. It can't be. Mm-hmm. So I can only say it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be difficult. There's absolutely no doubt.
And I have confidence that if you see something wrong, you're gonna maintain your vote, and that's what we need. We need people to to be there, looking for us and working for us.
I'm definitely the kind of person that I call it like I see it. I mean, that's just who I am. And that's not to say to go after anybody or accuse anybody or beat anybody up. But yeah, if I see something, I'm going to ask, I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to talk about it. Because I think we have to. If we can't, especially when you're struggling the way we are, if you can't approach it honestly and straightforward, how do you fix anything?
Yeah, I mean, I need to be fair. I confronted you a couple of times about the votes that you did, because it's my opinion, and we've been friends forever, and I can remember one of those votes that you really came around and you realized that was not the best votes, and you give me the quarter. So which is always good. That means I'm paying attention. But I got a text, so we have 4 minutes to go. And it's so much that we need to talk about that I wish I had more time, but if you have another Wednesday free, please let me know so we can book you, because it's so much. We have another big elephant in the room. It's trash. Again, we're going to be talking trash.
You're right. You're right. Matter of fact, I was talking trash just today already. Again, we spin our wheels and we spin our wheels. And we just don't seem to be able to get any traction. And I find that so frustrating. So frustrating. The price keeps going up. It's going to continue to go up. Eventually there's going to have to be some concessions made. I don't see any way around that. I don't know. You can come up with 10 ideas, but there'll be 10 different factions.
Yeah.
10 different, that's right, 10 different points of opposition, and each has their own stance, and everybody wants to be happy. And I get that. Yeah. But we're all in the boat together, and we can't let it sink. So,
and your idea for transfer station, it's a dead horse, right?
That was our idea, Carlos.
No, it's your idea.
Well, it's like anything else, and that's part of the problem. I think we never, ever, ever manage to plan ahead and get something set in stone ahead of time. 10 years ago, a transfer station was the answer. Absolutely. There were a lot of things we shouldn't have done in hindsight, but hindsight's 2020. Is having a transfer station, does it still have merit? I think it still has merit, but I don't think it carries the weight it would have 10 years ago. And I think today we'd be in a different position. So, not only do we have to solve how do we pay for trash, but we need to really, really examine and set in motion a remedy moving on down the road. Like John said, the future's coming. Yeah. What do? We have to address the future.
Michelle, is there regarding the whole trash thing? I know this has been brought up in the past, but when we have apartments or anything over, like say a 6-family or even a 4-family, a lot of times they're businesses. Has there been any talk to make them either go to a private hauler on their own, and that would cut costs a lot? That would be another form of opposition, I would gather, right?
You gather correctly. The discussions have been had. The discussions have been brought up. You have, at one time I had said, because I believe there is 6 families are considered business to begin with.
Well, Michelle, I'm sorry. I just got a notification. We out of time. I need to bring you back. So let's talk for another show. Thank you guys for being in here. Thank you, Michelle, for accepting my invitation.
No, thank you.
Good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.